Nearly every 6 days in the U.S., a child is killed amid a custody dispute, family court lapse, or other mishaps. Each death is a tragedy. Collectively, these cases reveal a national crisis in the family court system that regularly misses signs, warning signs, and exposes too many kids to abuse and death. A California-based nonprofit Center for Judicial Excellence reported that 944 children were killed by a divorcing or separating parent or another parental figure from 2008 till 2023. Family courts involved in these cases often miss signs of trouble and put children in harm's way through decisions that prioritize parental visitation, even in cases where there are signs of abuse. Welcome back to Justice 4. We're your hosts. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Sam.
You okay?
That was a lot of stats that I didn't like.
It was. I was actually really shocked at that every 6 days stat. I'd never heard that before.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I didn't like it either, so I had to.
But here we are.
It, you know? It's been a while, but we have a Colorado case for y'all. Yeah?
Last Colorado? Overstreet?
Yeah. It's been a little bit. And better yet,
look at us.
It's expanding. A case expanding into our very own hometown, local city of Colorado Springs. We are expanding.
Yep.
And no matter how many times I read anything about this case, I just can't believe it because it reads more like a made-for-Netflix movie than it does real life. So buckle up, buttercups, because this shit is just something else, I tell you.
Why don't I ever tell you to buckle up?
I don't know, but I just realized I tell you to buckle up every episode.
I should start telling you to buckle up because
you probably should.
Wild shit.
I need a 5-point harness for your episodes.
You're welcome.
All right. On Tuesday, December 19th, 2023, at approximately 12:29 a.m., the Colorado Springs Police received a 911 call for a burglary on the east side of the city. If you're local to the Colorado Springs area, we're talking about the Powers area, specifically like Tut and Stetson Hills.
That's still the east side to me.
Yeah.
I don't care what they say.
Yeah. It's
Powers,
east side of city
no one
limits.
will ever make me like you.
When officers entered the apartment, they found 35-year-old Kimberly Singler and her 11-year-old daughter seriously injured with stab wounds. As police went through the rest of the apartment, they found an absolutely horrific scene in one of the bedrooms. Lying side by side on a bed was 9-year-old Ellie and 7-year-old Aiden, deceased. Kimberly and her daughter received medical treatment from EMTs before ultimately being transported to the hospital for further medical treatment. Kimberly gets released from the hospital later that same day. The following morning, December 20th, Kimberly files a motion for continuance. What for, you may ask? Well, that afternoon at 1:30, she was supposed to be in court to hand all 3 children over to her ex-husband, Kevin Wentz, who was just granted emergency full custody of the children on December 17th. After Kimberly never showed up on December 16th to the Stetson Hills Police Department for the court-ordered child exchange. This exchange was supposed to happen with Kevin's sister, the children's aunt. Yes?
So.
Oh, can I say, one more sentence first?
Yeah.
I know y'all have, a million questions already, and I have a lot of explaining to do for how I just opened this. But go ahead.
Why did it take 3 days to, do that exchange? If you apply,
So first,
it's in here.
Let me read to you what Kimberly wrote in that motion, which, by the way, she did from a public library. And
which one?
I forgot to look up the public libraries over on that side of town, but I also don't know what hospital they took her to. You don't understand why I couldn't figure out exactly which library to look up. Let me continue.
They would have had to take her to St. Francis.
That's what I'm thinking. Depending on her insurance, It could have been Memorial North also. And they have little random emergency rooms right there as well.
Yeah,
it's
no, they took to the hospital.
Too much. An actual hospital?
Yes.
Probably Penrose.
I am going to pretty much read word for word, except for I simplified out the legal jargon so that it's digestible. Jargon.
Say crack.
Crack.
Sorry, go on.
Kimberly states, on December 18th, 2023, at about 11 a.m., someone broke into my apartment and attacked the children and myself. Ellie and Aiden were murdered, and my daughter and I were left to die. But we survived. I was just released from the hospital yesterday. My daughter is still in the hospital. Given the circumstances, she is in the temporary custody of El Paso County DHS. I had no ability to call 911 until approximately midnight on December 19th. So obviously, I had no idea that Kevin's attorney had called me or sent me any emails. So I just learned about this status conference late last night. I need you to know the "so obviously" is a quote. I had to. My apartment is currently locked down during the investigation, so I have no access to any of my personal belongings. I cannot log into my email because I do not have my phone to get the verification code. I'm on a public computer in a public library. I have no access to a private computer or space which would allow me to attend the hearing virtually. I don't have my driver's license, so I can't drive to the hearing. Furthermore, I'm unable to attend in person or virtually or otherwise because I have lacerations on my neck and wrists. And although I have been released from the hospital, I am weak and in a great deal of pain, and I will require medical treatment / checkups for the next 10 days at least. She ends it with, I would like time to heal, to find out if my daughter's condition is stable, to grieve the loss of Ellie and Aiden, and to gain my bearing after this incident. I would like to request the court to reschedule no sooner than January 1st, 2024. Before I break that down, give me your thoughts. That was a lot.
That was a lot. My very first thought is your daughter 10?
She's 11, and real quick on that. We do not have a name for her because she survives, and I will refer to her as the 11-year-old or the daughter throughout this entire video.
Great news. I don't need her name.
I just wanted to let everyone know I will keep saying that.
Heard. So, her daughter is still in the hospital. And she is at a fucking public library instead of in the hospital with her daughter after she just got attacked.
Yes. You just want to make sure you gathered all that?
Mm.
Oh, and that it took her 12 hours to be able to call 911 after the attack happened?
Yeah, I was confused on time, but I knew you would explain that to me.
So, yeah, 12 hours to call the police. She wasn't able to. And if you're so weak, why are you at a public library on the computer? And, like you stated, not with her daughter in the hospital, who she doesn't even know the condition of.
I feel like if you're in the hospital with your daughter who was just attacked and stabbed multiple times, the courts would probably understand and be a little bit more understanding if you're still in the hospital with her rather than going to a library to type up something to give to a judge explaining all these things away.
Well, and also, if she can get to the public library...
How'd she get there?
She can get to the courthouse, because Colorado Springs has shit-ass public transportation, so we know that's not what she's using.
On Powers.
Especially on that side of town. So
Yeah.
Somebody's driving her around.
Yeah, how did she get there?
No idea.
She didn't drive herself because she doesn't have her driver's license. Oh.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have her phone, so she can't get an Uber.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't, but, you know.
Okay,
So,
go on. Tell me everything.
Let's go back to December 19th.
Yeah.
After Kimberly and her daughter were taken to the hospital, Kimberly told police that she had woken up on December 18th, feeling weird and woozy, and that the children had seemed drowsy as well. She said that she suspected her former partner, Kevin, the children's father, of killing them and organizing to have them killed. She said that a dark figure had entered her apartment and that she had fainted. Her daughter also told the police that a man broke into the house.
What? Now I'm so confused.
Investigators immediately began processing the crime scene at the apartment. They found 2 empty bottles of sleeping pills in the kitchen trash can. In a closet, they found a gun that looked like it was handled by someone with bloody hands. Live rounds, as well as spent cartridges, were on the floor. And a bloodstained knife. There was absolutely no sign of a break-in. Kimberly was fully cooperating with police after her release from the hospital and the following days, until she suddenly wasn't. We don't have an explanation on why that switch happened, but I'm wondering if it's because the police were beginning to hint at the fact that there wasn't a break-in.
Okay.
7 days after Kimberly made that 911 call, claiming that someone had broken into her house, on December 26th, the Colorado Springs Police Department issued an arrest warrant for the arrest of Kimberly Singler, and her charges were listed as 2 counts of murder in the first degree, 2 counts of murder in the first degree, 1 criminal attempt murder in the first degree, 1 count criminal attempt murder in the first degree, 2 counts of child abuse, 1 count of child abuse. The first 2 is a class 2 felony, the single one is a class 3 felony, and 1 count of assault in the first degree.
Am I high? Did you just read 2 counts of first degree twice?
Yes. She has 2, 4, 6, 8. She has 11 charges against her.
Good gravy.
Yes.
All right.
Then they dropped this bombshell at the end of this. A $10 million bond was set by the courts. And when the warrant was issued, the CSPD's Violent Offender Fugitive Task Force began efforts to locate Miss Singler. She was last seen on Saturday, December 23rd, 2023, and her current whereabouts are unknown.
This bitch.
This absolutely shocked the community that was already reeling from the tragedy of losing 2 very loved children. Kimberly was now responsible for murdering 2 of her children and attacking and seriously injuring the other, not to mention traumatizing that poor girl for life. But now you're going to tell us that you don't know where she is and you haven't known for 3 days? I would really like to say that this is a fluke for the Colorado Springs Police Department, but they also allegedly, in quotes, lost Letitia for a little while. And I say allegedly because they just keep sidestepping admitting to that. But we'd like to lose people here. So after this release...
I love our police department very much, though.
Oh, no, I do. They just, for some reason, lose track
better.
of people that are suspected of things.
Track people better, please.
Yeah.
I know some of you guys. Be better. I love you.
Right? After this release, we get rumors and mumbles that there's a possibility that she isn't even in the state of Colorado anymore. And, of course, like every case that unfolds in the media with someone on the run... cough, cough, Brian Laundrie.
Ugh.
There are always people speculating that they have left the country. So while a national and possibly international manhunt gets underway for Kimberly, I'm going to take you all through the autopsies of Ellie and Aiden, as well as the events that led us up to this tragic day in December of 18th. Both children's toxicology reports came back having potentially lethal to lethal levels of doxylamine.
Be better.
I'm trying. Which is commonly found in sleeping pills or antihistamines. And I originally thought it was Benadryl.
Yeah, no, I can't take Benadryls. Unless I want to sleep real good.
Yeah.
Can't sneeze if you're unconscious.
Correct. I really like that. I feel like that should be their tagline for Benadryl.
I agree.
So, but then I remember that the police found 2 empty bottles of sleeping pills in the trash can.
Mm-hmm.
And when you type doxylamine into Google, the first search result is Unisom, which is a super common over-the-counter sleep aid.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Dude, that
We're all
makes
tracking.
me so groggy the next day, though. I can't.
It really does. 9-year-old Ellie suffered a gunshot to the head, followed by knife lacerations to her neck. These injuries combined caused her death.
I imagine.
7-year-old Aiden suffered a gunshot wound to the head as well, but his was fatal. He also had knife lacerations on his neck, but they did not contribute to his death.
Hold on. You're telling me you just told me that Ellie did not die from this gunshot wound?
The combination between the gunshot wound to her head and the stabs to her neck is what killed her.
Okay.
Which is just absolutely horrific. How could a mother do this to her own children? And I really, really hope that the sleeping pills had these innocent babies just completely knocked out so that they weren't scared
Oh, God, I pray.
and that they didn't have to see their own mother doing this to them.
I hope so.
I so hope so. Yes? Let's keep going.
Go on.
All right.
I just have so many questions.
Because I'm moving on from the autopsy, so if you have
I
questions
know
about
you
that.
are. I have no question about the autopsy.
Okay.
I have questions about other things that I know you're probably going to explain. Go on.
All right. Now on to who are Kimberly Singler and Kevin Wentz, and what went so wrong that we ended up here in this terrible tragedy. Kevin Wentz and Kimberly Singler were married on June 4th, 2011 in Greeley, Colorado, which is about 2.5 hours north of Colorado Springs or an hour north of Denver.
It smells.
Literally, if you ask anybody in Colorado, it's the first thing they say.
It literally smells. And it's not because of the cow poop. It's because they burn the cow blood. You're welcome.
Thanks, Sam.
Fun fact, didn't know that. Okay. Anyway, they welcomed their first daughter in April of 2012, followed by another girl, Ellie, who was born in April of 2014. And then in July of 2016, they welcomed Aiden. Now a family of 5, they just enjoyed life and being a family. But that bliss would soon come crashing down. A few months before Aiden turned 2, on April 7th, 2018, Kimberly and Kevin filed for divorce. The older kids are about 6 and 4 at this time. So the divorce itself only took 2 years to settle. Custody, on the other hand, took about 4 years, and it wasn't pretty.
Okay.
Kimberly was initially granted full custody of the kids, and a custody plan that included Kevin having visits with the kids on designated days and times.
Okay.
And this seemed to go fairly well all summer, until September of 2018, when Kimberly called the police on Kevin, claiming that when Kevin came to pick the kids up from her, he became verbally abusive before pulling a knife on her. The police showed up and spoke with Kevin, and he denied the allegations. And after speaking with everybody else, the cops didn't find any, merit to this, and didn't end up arresting anybody and just left. We actually do have a picture of Kevin speaking to the police during this time. I have no idea why somebody took a far zoomed out picture that got zoomed in of him leaning up against a car talking to them, but we have it. Random.
Yay. Also, why they're talking to him outside and not in a police
because
station.
he was there to pick the kids up, and so she called the cops, and so they came
fair.
straight out to the.
That's fair. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everything was pretty quiet until May of 2019, when Kimberly asked the court to restrict Kevin's parenting time, and the court agreed to consider it. But a date and time for a trial hearing could never get made because Kimberly wouldn't respond to the court. So it's now August 28th. The judge is over her ass and sent a court summons to her house that she never responded to.
Oh, no.
Which apparently is just fine when you're in hearings and stuff like this, because if you're a parent that's not responding, it just the other parent they just dismiss or whatever, and the other parent does. So
yeah,
it's not like you got a jury summons or you're subpoenaed to be a witness and then they come after you. It's just okay, cool, you don't actually want to do this, whatever.
But also, she's the one that requested this.
Yes, which is also why I believe that they're just okay, cool, whatever, you don't want to be here. So, and also I want to take the time right now as I go through this. There was over 1,000 documents pertaining to this custody battle that thankfully Denver 7 and KKTV went through and had beautiful summarized timelines for everybody. So I didn't have to go through thousands of pages.
KKTV, I love you.
We love y'all. So now the divorce is finalized in 2020. Mm-hmm. And they came to a co-parenting arrangement, an agreement, and because of this, the case gets transferred to a new judge.
Okay.
Okay? Because we're, all of that was, linked in with divorce proceedings and custody, and now that the divorce is finalized, now we are just in custody proceedings.
Okay.
Okay. Things just kind of chill out till January 5th, 2021. Kimberly files a motion to move the children to Florida with her and assume immediate sole and temporary parental responsibility. They would go back and forth on this for almost 2 years until October 20th of 2022, when Kevin filed an emergency motion to prevent the abduction and to terminate the stipulated order that allowed Kimberly to move to Florida with the kids. And by terminate the stipulated order, I just think it means the order they were fighting about for her to get to move. And I think he just was ending it.
That's what I figured.
And a judge set a hearing for a week later. And in true Kimberly fashion, she didn't show up.
Huh.
They tried calling her, they were sending her mail, but nothing. So then May 13th, 2023, so the year everything went down.
Uh-huh.
When Kevin asked to modify his parenting time, a month later, the judge decides to appoint a family investigator to their case. So Kevin asked in May to modify his parenting time to get more parenting time, and the judge responded with appointing a child family investigator to the case. Kimberly, of course, filed another emergency motion to restrict Kevin's parenting time, and then didn't show up to the hearing on August 7th.
What is with this woman?
I don't know, but
I don't
understand. So she filed again. And this time she showed up to court. She was late, but hey, she showed up. And on September 9th, 2023, the judge ruled in Kevin's favor, saying the court does not find that time with the children's father would endanger their physical health or impair their emotional development, like Kimberly had been claiming, and her motion got denied. Snaps.
Thank God.
But then the court completely flipped 20 days later.
Oh, no.
On September 29th, and decided to grant her motion to restrict Kevin's parenting until an investigation into 2 claims against Kevin could be done. Kevin was accused of felony menacing and false reporting after allegedly pulling that knife on Kimberly. So now that we have that, remember we got switched judges?
Yeah.
So she brought this back up again to this judge, and this judge decided that an investigation needed to be done into this, which is how we got the family investigator. But in a little twist from this judge, he ordered them to both take polygraphs. I've never heard of a judge telling parents to take a polygraph in a custody battle.
I kind of love it, though.
How much back and forth? I mean, over 1,000 pages of back and forth bullshit, obviously. Yeah. So I have a feeling there's way more motions, but these are all the big ones.
I mean, when there's no evidence and it's just hearsay, not that polygraphs are the best way to determine who's lying and who's not. Whatever. They're at least a decent indication.
Yeah. Well, and then when one of them does something like this, Kimberly filed a motion to be excluded from the polygraph. And the judge said, nope, take it.
Period.
10 days later, and after hearing testimony, the judge decided that Kevin was not a danger to the children's physical health or impaired their emotional development. And he terminated the restriction on his parenting time.
Good.
Kimberly and Kevin were now ordered to only communicate through a court-monitored parenting app called AppClose.
Good.
And that's a new one. I haven't heard of that one before. In addition to all of that, because this judge was no longer fucking around, Kimberly was ordered to bring the children to Kevin on December 16th, and he would have them until December 31st to make up for the time he lost because of the allegations against him and the investigation that restricted his parenting time.
And over Christmas? Ugh, I love it.
I know, this judge is awesome.
Hey, you live near us. I'll give you a gift basket.
Oh yeah, we could drop it off.
Yeah.
Which leads us right back to December 16th, when Kimberly was supposed to drop all 3 children off at 9 a.m. at the CSPD Stetson Hill substation, which is near Kimberly's condo. And Kevin's sister was doing the exchange for Kevin. Obviously, we see why.
Yeah.
When Kimberly didn't show up, Kevin immediately filed for custody of his children, stating that Kimberly had violated their custody agreement by not showing up to drop off the children, and she still hadn't produced them. The judge granted his request, and CSPD called Kimberly and instructed her to bring the children to the Stetson Hills police station. She responded by saying, "But I'm nowhere near the police station right now. So I can't bring them." And they're like, "Okay, how far away are you? When can you get here?" "Actually, I'm in Breckenridge with all 3 kids." So, for those of you who don't live in Colorado, Breckenridge is a ski town in the mountains, and it's about 2.5 hours from the police station.
It's a really cute place.
Super cute.
I like that place.
And she had all 3 of the kids. I know I said that, but still, Kevin, okay, so then after that, she sends an email to the police saying, "But I'm still in the state of Colorado." Which
Why
is really
did
weird
she
because,
feel the
like,
need to do that?
I have no idea. But I had to put it in there because I thought it was weird.
I assume it's probably part of their custody agreement. Like, she would have to notify
Maybe.
if she left the state.
That would make
Gotcha.
sense. That actually makes a lot of sense because they
Yeah.
can generally go anywhere. And
Yeah.
okay, I have more questions.
Hold on for a second.
I'm holding.
Kevin was then granted full custody of the children. A court date was set for December 20th for Kimberly to bring all 3 children to court to be handed over to Kevin, since he was now granted full custody from December 16th to January 18th, when they would have their next custody hearing. So originally, he was just supposed to have him from the 16th, 31st. But when Kimberly didn't drop him off, that judge then extended his time of full custody to when they set the hearing.
For a little over a month.
What are your questions?
First of all, why the fuck? If you know you have to drop your kids off somewhere, specifically for custody, court ordered, might I add, would you drive 3 hours with them to be like, I forgot? She probably didn't even say she forgot.
Well, also, it's like, one, I don't even think she was in Breckenridge. I think she was just telling them that.
Probably.
I don't actually think she was up there with the kids. We haven't really gotten that information, or if we have actual, like, proof of that.
Yeah.
Things that we shall learn in trial one day. But I just think she just didn't want to bring him back, and she was trying to
Maybe.
avoid. And, like, that's something easy to say. Like, that's very far away. It's going to take her time to get back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's better than saying Denver or Pueblo.
Denver or Pueblo is not that far away.
Anything that's off the highway.
Yeah.
So.
Ugh. And also I-70 is just the worst.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't believe her.
Any other questions?
I have other questions, but I'm going to wait.
Okay. So, now that you're all caught up on...
No, I do have another question.
What's up?
Why didn't they go to her house?
I don't know. They could have, and it's just not, like, in here. But...
Huh. Okay. Proceed.
So, now that you're all caught up on that hot mess of a custody battle, let's get back to the international manhunt for Kimberly. And yes, I did mean to say international. So first, a statement that was put out by Kevin and his family after the hunt for Kimberly began reads, "We are cooperating fully with the police in their efforts to locate Kimberly, and we ask for the public's help finding her. We are grieving over this horrific tragedy. We ask for privacy and prayers as we navigate this storm. Our focus is on God and His glory and our surviving niece. We hope everyone remembers the innocence involved in this, and our sole goal is protecting her. Please pray for all involved, for healing and peace as we seek answers and grant us our privacy. Thank you." Which was pretty solid.
Yeah.
An article from the New York Times quotes investigators saying that they have reason to believe Kimberly was last seen on Christmas Eve and now is no longer in the state of Colorado. So just hold on to that little bit of information for a moment.
I thought she was last seen on Christmas Eve.
Yes, but now they came out and said
Christmas Eve
is the last time they have reason to believe Kimberly was last seen on Christmas Eve now. So just hold that.
I'm holding. Locked in.
On December 30th, 2023, just 4 days after her arrest warrant was issued, it was announced that Kimberly Singler was arrested in the UK.
Hell yeah.
Specifically, Kensington. There is so much to unpack here, so let's do it. First up.
Oh, we had a talk about this at the gym, and I forgot.
Why the fuck did she choose Kensington of all places?
It's a nice place this time of year.
Now I know that we say we love dumb criminals on this podcast.
Yes, we do.
And it's because we really do. Mm-hmm. And we have had some dumb ones on here.
Real dumb. Real dumb.
But ladies and gentlemen, I believe Kimberly is a top 5 dumb criminal on this show. All right?
I mean, that's a pretty, like, we've had some pretty dumb criminals. That's
Oh, she top 5.
What an honor.
Right? First off, the UK is an extradition country. So that was dumb, but we're going to dive into that in a moment. Second, I'm pretty sure she used her own passport and her credit cards to book her flight and her hotel in central London at Christmas time, which is also super expensive and crazy busy and crowded this time of year, which could have also been a part of her plan, to blend in and not stick out so many people, which may sound smart, not really, until you realize that London is ranked 3rd in the world for having the most CCTV cameras.
I love that. You can't get away with shit there.
Is how we believe they spotted her on Christmas Eve.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Also, since I stated that she stayed in a hotel in central London, which is hella expensive, you guessed it. She doesn't have any family in Kensington or London, not even the UK or Europe. Not a friend, not a family member, not an ancestor. Well, she might have an ancestor, I don't know. Nothing. This is where she's going to lose it. I want to add something very, very fun I found on the internet. And
I'm going to lose it more?
Listen.
Oh, no.
I found this out via Kevin and his Facebook back in 2022 when Kimberly seemingly disappeared. With or without the kids to Arizona, I'm not sure. It does not matter. But anyway, he was posting on Facebook trying to find Kimberly. He thought she had run away to Arizona to be with who she thought was Henry Cavill. Yes, Superman. I am being so serious right now. He thought she was getting scammed into human trafficking. But honestly, it sounds more like she was getting catfished into thinking she was talking to him and going to meet up with him. Kevin even goes as far as to message every Henry Cavill account on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And there's a lot of them, like fan accounts, all of it. And he really thought that, like, he was posting on Facebook telling people this, like, trying to find her. And why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you this, guys? Because do you want to know where Henry lived in December of 2023? He was living in Kensington in stables that were refurbished into small houses. Like, legitimately, this is a theory that I found. It came from Kevin. I have Grizzly True Crime is the one who put it all together, but I have seen it in the Kimberly Singler discussion group, on Facebook, and other places. And it sounds crazy, but honestly, when we talk about this next part, you might join me in how this theory is plausible.
Do you remember on Catfish how that guy thought he was dating Katy Perry?
Yes.
Is all I'm thinking right now.
Because we talked about extradition, right?
Yeah.
And how it's so stupid that she went there knowing that she can get extradited.
Maybe she didn't know.
After Kimberly is arrested, she hires Edward Fitzgerald, a pretty famous extradition defense lawyer in the UK. He's actually really well known for representing high-profile cases like Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, and his year-long extradition trials. Yeah, so she had him instantly.
Is he known for keeping the extradition from happening or making them happen?
Keeping them from happening.
Oh.
Yes. So we're on it from the beginning. How'd she
get the money for that?
No clue. No clue. So he's famous for trying to get extradition stopped.
Got it.
Kimberly had her first court appearance on January 1st, and then she was in there again on January 29th. This is where she announced her appeal of extradition.
Okay.
And basically it's on the grounds that the crimes, which she denies committing, by the way, they carry an automatic life sentence without parole, which is a breach of European human rights law.
Are you serious? That's a thing?
The procedure under Article 3 of the European Convention on Human Rights is a process that provides protection to individuals who fear returning to their home country due to the risk of being subjected to torture, inhumane treatment, and punishment. Basically, the death sentence or the possibility of never getting out of prison is inhumane in Europe's eyes. And this is, I guess, what Kimberly was thinking, which is a hella risky move in my opinion. But like I said, we have a top 5 dumb criminal. And this is why I love the Henry Cavill theory, because Kensington makes absolutely no sense as a place to hide out, to bank on that small chance that a high-profile extradition lawyer will get you out of this.
Like, maybe she was just expecting to go see Henry, and they would just fall madly in love, and he would pay a bunch of money to be like, no.
Yeah, I wasn't really buying into that theory until I found out that he was literally living in Kensington at that time.
Yeah.
Like, and not far from where she was.
I really hope he got like a restraining order against her. He probably doesn't even know. He probably has no idea.
Probably has no idea.
I am also very concerned about this law. I don't like that.
It's okay. Don't sweat it too much. I'll get there. Don't sweat it too much.
No, I'm still gonna sweat it, just based off of everyone else who may or may not be there.
Okay.
Also, why have that law if you're cool with extraditing?
There's actually 43 or 48 other countries who have that with them.
So the definition that you're concerned with is the definition of inhumane to them. So specifically, they believe that the death penalty and life without parole, like zero
Life
chance of ever
imprisonment.
getting out, that falls under the definition of inhumane for the European Union. But the reason they have these laws in place is to protect people from going back to like countries that are notorious for torturing, for holding against like any sort of like actual plausible reason.
Yeah.
So it's to protect people that actually need protection
From their countries.
Yes.
Not how she's using this.
Yeah. So very crime oriented, like based type.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if
Depending on what crime.
Yeah. So
Okay.
okay, can I just
yeah.
Okay, what popped into my head right now is, for example, the American college student who was sent to prison in North Korea, or in Korea. Was it North, South, which part of Korea, remember? And he,
Probably
for
North.
taking
Probably North
taking the
Korea.
poster,
100% North Korea.
he was there on a college trip. He took a poster, I'm air quoting for our audio listeners, off a wall, and he went to trial, basically took him through that. He got sent into prison. I think it was like a year later, his parents finally got him out and back here, but he had been brain dead for 10 months in there and all this stuff. That would be an example of, we're not going to send you back to North Korea because that's going to happen to you, not the U.S.
Fair.
And I mean, if you look at, there's even several states within the U.S. that have completely taken life without parole off the possibility list for punishments and death sentences as well. So it's just
Colorado doesn't have the death sentence anymore, and that's going to come into play in a minute.
Oh, I know.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna keep my thoughts to myself.
So a hearing was set for September of 2024, and it took place over 3 days. During this, there was testimony from Kimberly, the Colorado Springs police, and evidence from that evening was presented from the house and stuff. In Europe, like in London.
Yeah. Did they just like zoom in?
Yeah, so the Colorado Springs zoomed in.
Okay.
Kevin's alibi for December 18th and 19th was provided. He was actually driving a truck in Denver that night, and the truck had GPS tracking on it, and everything matches and locates to a T.
Nice.
Also, there was none of his blood or anything in that apartment. It was all Kimberly and the kids.
Yeah.
Then we found out more about the 11-year-old's statements. So initially, she told police that a man came in the house and attacked them.
Mm-hmm.
But after she was released from the hospital, while she was in placement with a foster care family, on Christmas Day, She told her foster mom that her mom told her to lie to the police about what happened. She told them that Kimberly made all 3 of the children drink milk with a powdery substance. She then made them all close their eyes. She guided Ellie and Aiden into the bedroom. Then she came back to her 11-year-old and stabbed her in the neck. As she begged her mom to stop, she didn't. And I'm not entirely sure of the timeline between them drinking the milk, Kimberly taking the youngest 2 in the bedroom, and what happened to the oldest. But I'm pretty sure that she laid all 3 kids down next to each other. Or at least laid them 2 down and killed them, and then came back out and got the oldest and laid her down next to her siblings. I have read that all 3 of them were in the bed when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
I have read that Kimberly and the oldest were found otherwise. Because reporting inside the courtroom in London is not like America. They release very limited information, and there are no cameras in the courtroom. We don't even have a mugshot. We have sketches from the courtroom for you, not even an actual picture. So we only get the snippets that they're releasing to the media. The oldest finished this off by saying that Kimberly told her that God told her to kill them. Kimberly confirmed this by telling the judge at the hearing that God made her do it and that the children's father would take them away. So I'm guessing she's going to try to use the insanity plea next.
Did she try that already?
I don't know yet. We won't know till she gets here and enters a plea.
Okay.
Then on January 24th, 2025, 13 months after she fled to the UK, after allegedly murdering her 2 children and injuring her oldest child, District Judge John Zanny told Westminster Magistrates Court he is rejecting Miss Singler's challenge against extradition and said the case is now passed to the Home Secretary to decide whether Kimberly should be sent back to the U.S. That means it's our choice. The U.S.'s choice. And no, we're bringing her ass back here. So that shouldn't take very long for that decision to go through.
It hasn't gone through yet.
Because this just happened, we haven't had any update articles.
Got it.
I don't know. I'm assuming that we just have paperwork to get through, and they have to decide, like, have a hearing on our end, and not like a hearing, but like a official
Discussion.
Yeah.
Decision. Yeah.
The judge basically stated that since the Colorado governor has been known to commute sentences, there's a possibility that she won't serve life, and that's good enough for him, considering the crime she's being accused of. Yeah, he basically said, well, Colorado governor's been known. Her defense attorney goes, those were all minor cases, like minors under the age of 18, which is a lot easier to do. It doesn't apply to her. And also, he goes, the governor of Colorado would never commit political suicide like that.
Yeah, no.
There's no chance she will get that. And the judge goes, There's a chance. There's a chance she could get parole, and there's a chance that she could be let out by the governor. So
There's no way.
there's no
There's
chance.
no way.
But
There's no chance.
since technically Colorado doesn't have the death sentence anymore, he is technically abiding with European law. Because there's a possibility. It doesn't matter how slight it is.
I mean, there is a possibility.
But I love him for this. I love him for looking at it and go, no, there's one. Right there, I see it.
Mm-hmm.
So snaps to that judge. And not to mention, like, the UK just really doesn't want a fugitive hanging out there, because if they let her, like, if they reject her extradition, she just gets to go chill.
Yeah,
Because
that's wild.
the crime didn't happen there, so they can't take her on anything. They have no jurisdiction for it.
I've heard of many a cases like this. One of them horrible. We'll talk later.
But yeah, so this is where we stand with all of it. We're just waiting for her to get sent back home, which should happen in the next few months. If it gets approved, like I said, which I think it will. And, like, we just got over the biggest hurdle, which was getting them to move forward. Like, not getting them to do it because they were already about it, but she has been in prison the whole time. Apparently she's faring okay. It was a very British article that I read.
I have so many questions.
Well, that's awesome, because my next thing is, okay, Sam, what are all your thoughts? And anything you want to touch back on before we get to my favorite part of the episode?
I have a lot.
What's up? Hit me.
Okay, first of all, why did she get put with a foster home and not her father?
Because they are this was just in the following days after, because they were still investigating. So I'm sure they're still trying to figure out his alibi. They are still trying. So they are separating her from all the family, because at this point, like, it was still a burglary. It was Kimberly was blaming Kevin, and she said
there was a man that came in.
Yes, okay. And she was still continuing to blame
and you said
Kevin for this anyway.
Christmas, and so that's 9 days later. Not even 9 days later.
Yeah, she was arrested like 11 days. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, so like they were just they had to
later.
clear him and make sure, and so like yeah,
That's
so
fair.
she
That's
stayed
fair.
with a foster family and stuff, and I can feel that like it was just the best option at that time. And it actually worked out really well, because like had she come to Kevin and said that,
Oh my gosh.
that would have been so hard to push through.
I don't know if she would have told him.
Yeah. So
Like,
and
ultimately-
honestly, like, snaps to that foster mom, because like you must be an incredible human being, one, to deal with all of this, and two, for that girl to feel so comfortable and
after a week.
yes, to have a trust in you like that, to just open up and tell you anything and know that you're going to help her and protect her. Like, you are a beautiful human being.
Yeah. Secondly, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start with all these questions. I'm not gonna lie to you. How, if she got stabbed, like, how did she survive?
I don't know. So I don't know if, because Kimberly's saying the attack took place at 11 a.m. I don't know if it actually did or not at that time. We don't have time. Like, this little 3-day trial, they did give a lot. Like, I kept reading in like the UK articles, like gruesome details. And I also think it might just be because they're not used to this. But like, I know that they put stuff out in that time, but there's also, they probably could have put a lot out in there knowing that it will never actually get publicized in the media, because of how the UK is with their laws about the courtroom.
Say, for all we know, they probably laid out gruesome details.
And they laid out a lot, but this was, what I gave you guys is everything I could find from like her statement. Like, I had to pull the daughter's statement from like 3 different articles to get a full thing of it.
Essentially, we are probably not going to find out anything until her possible extradition here and then trial.
Yes. I mean, like, they released the kids' autopsies. At first, they had things kind of sealed up and stuff, and then they unsealed them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but we will definitely be finding out a lot more once she's back here and once our U.S. judicial system starts going through it.
Okay. What's Kevin doing at this point? Do we know?
I don't know. I think, so he was very actively posting in a Kimberly Singler discussion group on Facebook until he made a post that his lawyer said that it was not a good idea for him to be posting in here anymore.
Got it.
So I believe that him and the daughter are healing and moving on and doing this. Not they can't move on until all this settles. But also the utmost privacy for her and them. And that's why we have not named her.
Yeah.
And will not be showing her face, even though there are pictures of her not blurred out there. I don't want to, because this little girl has a long, hard life ahead of her. I was reading a comment from another mom whose kid goes to school with her, and how she had to talk with him, because this is all very much in the media, and to like not let the other kids bully, because middle school kids are mean. And I don't understand why, like, listen, it doesn't equate to an adult that kids be mean to another kid because they're like, this happened, like, this is tragic, we would wrap their arms around it, but kids are assholes and are like, your mom's a murderer, you know, like, it's stupid, and I hate it. We've seen it before with things. So, you know, teach your kids to not be an asshole and to comfort their friends, because what their parents do isn't their fault. That just really annoyed me reading while I was researching this.
I will keep the rest of my questions to myself, just because
we don't have answers.
However, I have one thought. I have a singular thought here.
That was funny.
My
last name's Singler. I love a good pun, guys. The best puns are ones that make people do that.
Anyway, my thought here, especially because she lives in an apartment complex, this is not it's not an old complex, but it's not a super new complex.
Mm-hmm.
So more modern type complexes, houses even, don't have a lot of insulation in them.
Oh, yeah.
They have like generally minimal, especially apartments. You can hear everything. I don't think it happened earlier in the day, personally, for the sheer fact that there was 2 gunshots in an apartment complex.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Well, I mean, or it could have happened in the middle. No, whatever, because it was on the weekend. It was on the weekend, so, like, that isn't even... No. 6:70, it was on, like, a weekday. So, I mean, 11 a.m. could make sense because, like, everyone would be at work, but not everyone's at work. So, like I said, we're going to find out a lot more because, like, we just have her timeline. Like, this is her account. So, I know that during trial, they're going to be like, she was never in Breckenridge, or she might have been in Breckenridge. We don't know. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, if they end up getting her phone, they could.
I feel like...
Or even if they... Sonic, calm down. They could probably... They may have already subpoenaed her phone company and gotten information. We just don't know anything.
I feel like it happened right before she called 911 because they, like, obviously her injuries were more superficial because she flew all the way to London. 10-hour flight, by the way.
She got out of the hospital the same day.
Yeah. And then also flew to... I'm just pointing out because she was so weak and her lacerations. She couldn't appear in court, but you could fly 10 hours to London.
I wonder how many of her marks were defensive ones. Like, from the kid. No, they were probably asleep, actually, so maybe not.
Maybe their daughter.
Yeah.
But...
The autopsies didn't say anything.
Didn't show any defensive wounds from them. I don't know.
I'm thinking that probably shows that they were asleep.
Out, yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes me
feel...
we hope. So now I got some questions for you, jury. The jury.
I feel like I'm going crazy here.
Why do you think Kimberly ran to Kensington? Do you think she planned to flee to the UK before the murders ever happened? Or do you think this thought came to her after? Or do you think she fled because her oldest daughter survived and would eventually tell someone what happened?
That's my thought.
Yeah, that's kind of where I sit too. Mm-hmm. So now, for my favorite part of the episode. All things Ellie and Aiden.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've already said, I would also love to have an all things about that precious angel that survived this horrific attack. But since she's still a minor and trying to recover and hopefully live a semi-normal childhood, we just want to keep her privacy.
Yeah.
So she's going to be blurred in all of her pictures and videos.
But we hope you are doing well.
Yes.
I know you don't know us and you'll probably not know us. But if for any reason you ever find this, hit us up. We'll go to dinner. And when you're over 21, we'll get a drink with you.
Our treat.
Yeah.
It's no one's business where she is now or what she's doing. Yep. She just needs love, prayers, good vibes, or whatever you believe in to help her heal and recover from this horrific attack.
Yeah.
While also grieving her siblings that she loved so much. And I can't imagine an oldest sibling not being able to protect your little siblings and the guilt and how hard that has to be on her.
She probably has survivor's guilt like a motherfucker.
So bad, probably. All of the pictures and videos that I have found of these 3 kids together, they are always laughing and they have huge smiles on their faces and they just really loved being together. From what I can tell through pictures and videos, because not a lot has been talked about the kids because with one surviving and protecting their privacy and all of that. So I watched videos and I went through pictures to try to see what they like and what they're into, okay? And Aiden loved building Legos and playing video games. He really liked Mario. Like, he has like a Mario Lego set you're gonna see in this video we're playing.
I love it.
And he loved playing games with his sisters. Just having fun all the time, you know? Random sibling things.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie loved crafting and being creative with her sister. She loved to play games with Aiden and her older sister. And just, these kids are never not smiling or laughing together. So I'm glad that even their little bit of time was just so happy together.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie and Aiden were given a private funeral service in the first week of January in 2024. A GoFundMe was also created to help the surviving daughter as well as the family to support her. The GoFundMe actually raised over $10,000 before it ended.
God
so,
damn.
like, way to go, Colorado Springs community, for
Hell
helping
yeah.
them and, like, really, you know, because it's a kid. And, like, yes, they don't have a lot, but, like, to be able to fund those adults in that kid's life to just be around them and be there for them is so, so important.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's kind of, we're going to play this wonderful video. Hope it's probably just like looping as I talked about that or underneath us with these kids in it. And from what I can tell, this video was actually posted by Kevin on the Kimberly Singler discussion group. And he wanted to post a montage of how he remembered his kids and his time with them.
My heart breaks for him.
And I see a dad who loved his kids so incredibly much and spent so much time with them, doing so many things. And, like, you can tell this is videos from his time with them after the separation and the divorce. And my heart breaks for this man. He loved his kids so much. And his coworkers have mentioned that in different places and how he just lived for them. So I really hope that he's doing okay as well. And we are here for you also, Kevin.
Kevin, you may see this. We're here for you, bud. We'll also buy you a drink.
Oh, yeah, we'll buy you a few drinks.
As many as your heart desires.
So.
Or if you don't drink, food. I like appetizers. I'm a slut for some mozzarella sticks. Bring it on.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Let's do it. We will definitely be keeping y'all updated on what happens next. So make sure you're following us on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram so you never miss an update. You can also find updates under our YouTube shorts on our YouTube channel. So we're going to start getting better about putting up our little videos on there. So check out that area.
Yep.
And if you enjoyed today's episode and want to hear more, go ahead and hit that like, follow, subscribe button. I don't know where it is on your screen.
I think it's
like
here.
Over there.
Here?
Down there.
Here-ish?
Yeah.
Or it's probably too low. Here-ish?
Yeah. Go ahead and hit that button.
Go with what you feel.
All right. And we are everywhere on everything. We've just recently found out we're on Audible. We'll stop saying this soon, but that makes me feel like super important. I don't know why.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, please leave us reviews or stars, whichever you like. We love reading them. We're running out of reviews to read and post, guys. We need some more.
It's true.
And we also love hearing from y'all. So please head over to our justiceforpodcast.com. It's our website. You can submit a case that you want to hear us talk about or you know nothing about and don't want to research. We do. We also have all of our episodes. We have tons and tons and tons of resources over there for everything. So hit us up.
Yep.
Anything else you got?
I don't think so.
We also have really exciting things coming up this year for you guys.
We have a lot of really fun
We
things.
have been in contact with some pretty awesome people.
Yep.
So we're really excited to bring that to y'all. And yeah, so just keep watching. We have a lot coming up. We're planning a lot behind the scenes for y'all.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a small little hint on one. Merch. Don't tell anyone. I'm just kidding. Tell everyone.
Yeah, please do.
You won't know about any of it yet, though. Sorry.
But keep an eye out on our social medias for a little poll about what y'all want.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I think the jury is ready to have merch.
I think the jury's ready for merch.
The jury's ready for merch.
The jury's ready for merch. All right.
Well then, thank you for joining us today. I don't have words for this.
I know. I told you. I was excited to tell you about this one.
Yeah. She's been holding on to this one for a hot minute.
I have because there hasn't been anything happening. I've been waiting
know.
for this final extradition ruling from the judge to say that they'll let her come back.
Justice is loading.
Justice is loading.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. We will catch you guys next week. We're about to go eat some food. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your week. Be safe. Catch you guys next week. Okay. Love you. Bye.